Nobody in the history of humanity has ever achieved work-life balance, whatever that might be. And you certainly won't. The day will never arrive when you finally have everything under control. So let's start by admitting defeat. None of this is ever going to happen. But you know what? That's excellent news. Despite Oliver Burkeman's optimistic predictions, he's not Batman. So maybe we don't have to admit defeat. At least not yet. Because in the time that it takes me to almost send an email, Batman is somehow out there managing a multi-billion-dollar company while maintaining his part-time job of definitely murdering people. But being a comic book nerd, I'll admit, even superheroes struggle with time management. They're always late, they're overwhelmed, Invincible is tardy to dates, Miles misses class, even Batman, peak productivity icon over here, barely sleeps.
Master Bruce got almost 3 hours sleep in the last 2 days.
And it shows. So, if you've ever felt like you're failing to juggle all your responsibilities, congratulations! You're just like your favorite superheroes. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. How to manage your double life. But instead of a playboy billionaire by day, vigilante crime fighter by night, it's graphic design intern by day, online college student and part-time Reddit lurker by night. But jokes aside, this was actually the system I used to get out of my pretty nasty rut. So if it at least helps one person out there, it would have been worth it. So, here's a no BS guide on how to manage your time like a superhero. Step 1. List out your alter egos. These are your roles in life. I listed 7 or 9 aspects or roles in my life that are important to me. Here are some examples. Employee man, gamer guy, captain thirst for social validation, and doctor neurosurgeon dude.
Do you have hair in your special place?
Miss Jamie?
I may have made that last one up, but this could be anything from your role as a son, brother, or boyfriend, though hopefully to different people. It's important to take stock of who you are and all the different hats you wear throughout the week, as it'll come in handy in the next step, which is assigning a long-term goal and a short-term weekly goal for each role. A study found you're 42% more likely to follow through on your goals once they're documented. Plus, a goal helps you decide what to do and can be a good source of internal motivation, which will come in handy when external stuff like praise, money, or existential meaning doesn't mean anything to you anymore. Anyway, for Batman, it might look like this. Crime fighter. Long-term goal, rid Gotham of its supervillain roster. A long-term goal needs to be specific and attainable. His weekly goal could be to find out who's been stealing chemicals from the Ace chemical plant. Your weekly goal has to support your long-term one. Since this seems like supervillain activity, that checks the box. Another role might be father to Robin, whichever one is still alive at that point. Long-term goal, keeping the theme of realistic and attainable here, raise a semi-stable crime fighter.
You know I won't. I'm gonna blow his deranged brains out! And if you want to stop it, you're gonna have to shoot me! Right in my face!
Weekly goal, therapy. Definitely schedule therapy. Do that for each of your roles, and you'll end up with something like this. For now, let's try 3 roles for Batman. Once you've picked your weekly goal, the next step is to list out the days of the week and schedule the actual steps to get there. This week, his weekly goal is to make a list of suspects for the chemical thief. Here's what his week might look like. Monday, meet Jim Gordon, to get the official police report.
How's that arm?
Better than the Joker's.
Close one this time.
They're all close ones.
Well, here's to survival. Hopefully we'll be doing this again next New Year's Eve.
Hopefully.
Tuesday, skip the case entirely because you have a shareholder meeting at Wayne Enterprises. Wednesday, do a site investigation of the break-in. Check security footage, dust for prints, etc. Thursday, ask, or threaten Cobblepot, if his men knew anything about this. Friday, therapy with Damien after work, case review in the evening, and scour the crime scene late at night.
Who are you working for?
Nobody! Look, we just boosted the truck, and
Lie to me again, and crashing into a wall head-on will be the least painful activity of your evening.
Finally, I like to leave Sunday empty to work on any overflowing tasks, and of course, to schedule the following week. This is where tips such as time blocking and the use of clocks, timers, and calendars can be useful. Because now that you know the important things you have to do each day, all you have to do is schedule them in. A comment on my last video actually made a really good point. They said the journey matters more than the destination. Or as Jeff Haden said, incredibly successful people set a goal, and then they focus all their attention on the process necessary to achieve those goals. They set the goal, then, surprisingly, they forget about it. What they care about most is what they need to do today. And when they accomplish that, they're happy with today. In his book, The Motivation Myth, he argues that these incremental daily accomplishments are the only sustainable source of motivation. Alright, sure, forget about the goals, but at the end of the day, we still have to set them, right? So how do you prioritize between all your different alter egos? Well, that's what I call the Joker or Darkseid problem. Let's say Batman finds out those missing chemicals were stolen by Joker's goons. They're trying to make a fresh batch of Joker venom. But just as he's tracking them down, Darkseid invaded the planet. What should he do? Joker or Darkseid? You've probably seen this before. It's called the Bat Matrix. It sorts tasks between two things, urgent and important. Urgent means that it needs to be done now or there are immediate consequences. Important means it contributes to your long-term goals, but consequences are bigger, yet not always immediate. Okay, let's try this out. Stop the Joker. Important, but not urgent. He's not doing anything yet. Fight Darkseid. Urgent and important, because if the Earth is gone, there's no more Gotham to protect. Learn to paint. Important, not urgent. Pick up laundry. Also urgent, but not important. Watch the new Yapictetus upload. Incredibly crucial, but neither urgent nor important. You get the point. By now, you can probably tell which tasks are urgent and which are important. And that's it. I'll share the PDF template I use on this video down in the comments below. But when it comes to time management, we don't need more hacks, tools, or systems to squeeze every second of our life of its productivity. Because that's what I call the flash problem, or what normal people call the productivity trap. Becoming more efficient just makes you more rushed, and trying to clear the decks simply makes them fill up again. There's always more things to do and more people to save.
Ever since I can remember, I've always had to be what the city wanted me to be. But what about what I wanted to do?
2 years ago, as of recording this, I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. At the time, I didn't know why. I just knew I was scared. Scared that I was wasting time when I wasn't doing anything, and when I was doing something, I was terrified that I wasn't doing the right thing.
The fastest man alive, always leaving people like me in your dust. Well, now you're stuck in high gear, and you're going to be all alone forever.
Doing one task made me feel guilty for neglecting another, and so I stayed stuck in this loop of fear and guilt, doing a lot, but never really enough. I'm saying this not for pity points. but because I'd like to thank everyone who shared their stories in the comments of my last video. I was on 60 subscribers last week, and I'm really touched by all the support. If at least one of you guys is going through what I went through, I hope this line helps you as much as it helped me. As Batman said, the one thing I've never needed was to win. All I've ever needed was the struggle. All I ever needed was to try. Maybe Oliver was right. It's time to stop expecting to win against time. Because it's not that we've been cheated out of an unlimited supply of it. Maybe it's almost incomprehensibly miraculous to have been granted any time at all.